I t- a quick comment. And today I called Judy in, of course, Wei Hao. Two of them are courageous, and we really appreciate you take leadership. We're now in the process part on organized subcommittees because now we already have a date, have a place, venue. So now it's really working, right? So the first thing is we need to set up the subcommittee today. We have Julie is leading the fundraising and outreach committee, facilitating that subcommittee. And of course, Wei Hao has been leading on the program committee. And then Celine had an excellent suggestion yesterday, and she's been working on this for, I guess, how long, Celine? I don't know. You've been working for a while, and to organize. We need a tool to organize, especially now we have subcommittees. A lot of things need to be tracked, tasks need to be assigned, and we need to know who is doing what. So all of these things, that's why I think before we even have a subcommittee operating, let's have our project management tool together so we know what we're doing and we're all organized. So go ahead, Celine.
Yeah, so this is Zoho projects, and I enter some information in there because I need to see how it works. And I just wanted to go over. I didn't want to share access right away because you'll be looking at it like, hey, what is Celine even doing? So, but I'll share a few things here, and then once I share access with you, the program, fundraising, or whatever committee you're leading, feel free to make changes, delete some of the things I enter, add on it, or just use as is, because you're the only one who knows what works for what you're trying to do. So I just had to set up something so, because visually I have to learn it first, and then I could see if it's useful for our group or not. So I set up, this is under project. So when I set up project, each project represent the committee. And say, for example, executive planning committee, the program committee, outdoor event has its outdoor event thing, indoor has its own, look and feel and what it needs to set up for, museum, community engagement, uh, marketing, communications, and things like that. So these are the major categories of the project. So that would be the committee in this case. And then we have the sponsorship, fundraising, hospitality, media, documentation, volunteer and stuff. So whatever project that's relevant to what you are doing now, you'll be the lead of that committee for now. Technology registration, I think that would be Prof, and marketing or community relation, that would be like Prof, right? And then um, the programming goes to Wei Hao, and fundraising goes to, where is fundraising? Fundraising.
Sponsorship fundraising, yeah, 21.
Ah,
21.
okay, okay. Yeah, so Julie, so when this is your committee, for example, you log in, you click on your committee, and within that, so I enter something just so I could see how it looks. But again, do whatever you feel is more efficient. So for example, on the sponsorship, there's different things going on. You have the strategy and positioning, and then you have the sponsor prospecting outreach. So here's like the sponsorship package development. These are like the categories of tasks within the whole sponsorship project. Relationship management, these are just examples, grant research and application. And then within every one of them, so you got this committee, you have the individual categories of tasks, and then the subtasks that needs to make that happen. So like a tree, right, with all the branches. So within the sponsorship strategy and positioning, you see how I set up SPN 1, and then 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, that's all relevant to the number one. And then when you go here, um, 3 sponsorship package development. So 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, all of these are like the mini tests that's associated with how to build the package development. So for example, if you click open this, there's a little description. And of course, if you want to change it, just click the pen button and make your changes and make sure you save it. So here's a description of when we develop the package, um, the alignment of it, defining the offering, you structure how the levels are. And if you go to like 3.1, it has its own description. So sponsorship, framework development, and then, it has the philosophy, the categories. So I just enter some notes in there. Not randomly, they are relevant because I did use, some help with ChatGPTs and all that. But like I said, I just had to enter to see what it works like. So in here, you can write the notes just to say whatever you did, or you can mention another person if you're working with a team, or 2 or 3 people are collaborating on the same project. And then if you had any documents, like for example, we created a sponsorship package, we can log here because then it's easier to look for instead of a whole Google Drive with 100 documents. So if there's any more subtasks, you can write here. Hours, this is important too, even though at this time we are doing it, non-paid, but it is volunteer hour. It also documents how much work it takes to make everything happen. So even if we are fundraising, don't forget that we are fundraising for 20,000 just for the venue, but don't forget all that labor that's behind it. So if you can log in the hour as well, that translates to either in-kind sponsorship that needs to be recognized later, or when funding is available, then, this is the kind of work that people need to get paid for. So, and, for example, go to technology and registration, whatever tests that prod and anyone who is dealing with that part of it, you enter like add test, write the name of it and create um, the page. So you have any questions so far before, and then I'll just send you the invitation and then you could play around. So there are different levels. So we collaborate on this thing. So anyone who make a note or update it, you have your name or a picture next to it, so we know who did what. And if I enter something somewhere, unless I give you my own login, the full admin access, another person cannot go in and delete or make change. So it's transparency, accountability, and also you not have to worry about a random person comes in here and delete all your notes and, delete everything you work so hard for to set up. So, but I'm sure y'all have some kind of experience with project management, but this helps us because so many of us working at different time zone, different capacity, dealing with different things. And it helps to minimize our weekly meeting time because instead of talking 2 hours, it could be just a stand-up meeting, 15 minutes just to say, hey, I did this. This is an update, 5 minutes. If you want the whole story, come in here and see what we have done. We don't have to repeat every time somebody comes on the meeting and tell them the whole story again. So, but
I
This
see
is
you have
fantastic.
assignment somewhere.
Yeah, Julie, go ahead.
Yeah, I just saw in the previous screen somewhere you have assigned, unassigned. How do you, is there a way to assign to a person or put somebody's name in there? Let's say you have a team of volunteers.
I think so. So far, the people who are signed in are me and Dr. Zhang, and I gave him the access like probably very late last night. So once we have more people, like all of you are already signed up, we could tag each other's names on. For example, I worked on something and then I need Wei Hao to take over because I've done my part of it. The next person to follow up is him. Then, in the comment, I believe it's comment. So let's say marketing and communication, I'll go to brand strategy, right here, write the comment. You could, mention somebody. So they would get like notification on their screen, on their phone if they had an app, on their email if they linked it, so they know somebody's, calling them. Not like WeChat and WhatsApp, because when one person says something, the whole entire group sees it, and sometimes it's not relevant to them. But this is when, if I mention one person, that person gets the message. Everybody else is, out of that picture. But yeah, assign person, assign team, I think right here, I haven't get to that part, but good question, right? I think add team, I could add project team, fundraising team, technology team, and whatever team that would be. And, once we have more people in this system, then we'll have people to assign to.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, just take time to play with it. I have a feeling you won't know what to do.
Celine, quick question. Does this have any kind of like visual um mapping capability? Like, sometimes you see a timeline and say, okay, we've got this checkpoint and 2 more weeks to go, 3 more weeks to go, or something like that. Just curious.
I want to say yes. So right here, there's like, tasks and open issues, um, stuff like that. That's on the dashboard. I saw something, okay, reports, there's a calendar. So, security and management. Um, hmm. So there was okay, let me see. I have different kind of view. Project view. I actually had it somewhere, but I'm using a different computer. At home, I have a bigger screen. So this one has a calendar. This one. I think this is what you may be looking for. I like that. So let's see. I'll go to one that has something. I'll go to project and programming content. Okay. So this is something I already start entering stuff. The programming content, we have that opening ceremony and whatever happens for those ceremony, right? These are like the things that are visually you can see being open. So whatever is in progress. So for example, opening script development, the status is open because nobody is being assigned or take ownership of it. But once somebody start working on it, you could click in progress, in review, on hold, whatever. And then I think if it's in progress, then it would show, right here in this core of it. So imagine like a wall and we putting what do you call it, post-it notes on it, right? So in review and whatever the status are, they're right here. And then this would be the calendar view. So if anything has a deadline, right? So for example, go back here, start date and due date, for example, we have to have certain things done by this day, and it's due the next day because it's, it's just that urgent, and we set the priority to very high. Then let me say the test would be in progress. The owner is Celine. Let me see if it updated. So see, like it has here on this calendar, so this particular thing needs to be paying attention and getting it done on this day and time. And then getting back here, so it's in progress, and you see the exclamation mark. That means urgent. So that's my job, and if I didn't do it, you see it, and then you could call me and scream at me or whatever. So I think that's how it's, getting done.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a little bit more of a visual person as much as I do tech stuff, so this is really helpful. Thank you.
That's why I have to enter a lot of information in there just to see what's the capability of this program, how much information it can hold.
When you click on that automation button, what happens? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, where is it?
That blue button to the right of Kanban, to the left of Add Task, underneath the plus sign. Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
So
cool. Okay, different workflows. Ah, nice. Cool. I could geek
yeah.
out further, but this is pretty cool.
Okay.
Looks
Well,
like we
actually,
have a little learning curve, right? But I guess everybody can jump on the wagon, quickly learn because I feel what Celine proposed here is we have like remember parts. I mean, in any company, right? You want like uh, a single truth, right? Somewhere
Source of truth.
everybody
Oh,
talking about single truth. You have otherwise everybody was on different thing. So hopefully this will give us ability to actually any time to look at a single truth. What is status by each task, or where we are for the next few months as we're working on for the national event. This is going to be a critical tool, I feel. So we just need a little learning curve, everybody. I think every committee, subcommittee lead should be part of this so we all actually see each other, right? How things move forward. Any questions and for Celine? I know Celine will send out invite to everybody so you can log in. She just sent to me. I only log in just to see it. I haven't done anything, but it seems pretty straightforward.
well, actually, part, uh, I thank Part for the idea because I signed up for Zoho to get organized, and he's working on the app, and we are working on the same goal, but I was afraid that we are on different platform. And then somebody from Zoho, one of the salesperson, sent me an email. Do you need a demo or whatever? And the name of that person is actually Pod as well. So, and then as we just testing out different things, and he somehow jumped into Zoho project because he wanted to learn about the system too. So I saw it. He didn't start doing anything, but I just dig in a little further to see how it works. I mean, I use Asana, I use Monday, and there's a bunch of other apps out there, but I needed one that is more user-friendly and centralized, because this one also linked to CRM program, also linked to forms, and also Click. It's kind of like Slack. It serves the purpose like, your WeChat or WhatsApp community or groups, but having it separate on, our computer or on our phone app, if anything from Zoho says three, that means three messages for you instead of, 20,000 message on WhatsApp. We don't know where to look for it.
And my understanding, Celine, is And this is not only on computer, but of course you can download the app onto your cell phone, so you can walk any place anytime you want to check status of each task. You can do that, right? That would be another major convenience for our, operation and working together.
Yeah, and it can be, and it's not so expensive. It's like a few dollars per person per account. Also, Zoho's pretty stable. I've been using it for more than 10 years on one of the program, not all of them. So I know they've been existing, been around for a while, and they have a nonprofit account. So it's basically whatever we use is half price. We have up to $4,000 credit. I don't think we ever use it, but it's good enough for the matching that they offer for a nonprofit.
So that means you can add more users and we pay that together by the project, right? Rather than individual, right? That might be a confusion when they receive.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We'll
So,
just pay for like
mhm,
the bigger management account and then
mhm.
add the users that are allowed to be in there. And I think for now, um, probably 5 to 10 users that are good because these are like the people who are more active in making these things happening. And then sometime in the future, when we are more proficient in using it and more people coming into the picture and help and take different roles, then we could get them into the system as well.
So the process would be for each subcommittee, for example, and then they'll go through the initial introduction through you and set up and invitations, right? Everything's and get them acclimated, and then they can go from there, right? So the process would be onboarding process like we're doing today here.
Yes, so depending on their access level, today I'm showing all of you so you can all use it for, the whole entire feature and system that's available because you need the access, right? But different people take different roles. And if you only need someone to do, certain things and they don't need to know the whole entire setup of the operation, they just only need to access like well, it's a for business, so they access like the employee level instead of the manager level.
Okay.
So they're taking assignment, they're getting you know, the command, the message from their higher management, and their access is just to say, I got this job done. Instead, they cannot change anything. They won't see the whole entire setup.
I just want to let's try a specific example. Let's say Judy now she has a team of let's say 5 or 6 people in her committee for fundraising. Now with this, if she's set up some basic task, right, and then when she have a meeting with subgroup, she can then pull this up and talk just directly from this screen and from this app. So that way it will facilitate the conversation, right? And assign people different things. Is that how that goes? How do we use this? So that's what I'm trying to get.
I would think so. Julie, how would you envision yourself using it?
Yeah, I think it's an excellent tool to try out. Um, I think as you said earlier, this is basically a team, a monitor for team task assignment and the workflow and the status update, basically, right? So I was just thinking, if you go to the initial screen that you showed us, I'll just start from there and create. I think you already have examples there. You have different tasks created, illustrated under the main tab. So from there, under each item, then we can probably, I'm just imagining the app should allow us to make assignment and schedule meetings, status update, and putting documents, a link to documents. I haven't, this is just in my mind. I haven't, obviously try it, but I would say this is the basic things I will first try. Anybody has the experience using this before? Celine or Pat?
I use Asana. Uh, what's the other one? They all have,
So
very similar features. The matter is, which one is more expensive.
the same. I've used Asana and Trello. Again, just cost is often the big factor.
Yeah. It is a similar, I mean, the apps are similar right now. There's pretty mature application. So I think it should satisfy us for the basic functions.
Easier than spreadsheet and Excel and Google Docs.
It's more, it's not, I would not say it's as easier, but it's probably overall is more making more sense for visibility, for, collaboration between people, for
Basically, as well.
notification, yeah.
I know you have your hands full. You have to do a app and communication, everything else. But I'm just asking, whether you like to join Judy on her team, and for the fundraising part.
Um, you were talking to Prot, right? Did he
Yeah, part.
hear you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was a direct question. Sorry about that.
No, because
I had the same
you share
thought, and I was like,
information. You
and then I was like, I don't want to overcommit to things. I don't know. I always like to just under promise and over deliver.
okay? All right.
But what I can do though, Julie, is I can share with you resources that I've used in the past for fundraising. So there's like, different platforms that I've used, and I already know what their pricing is, so that saves you having to talk to some customer service person to figure out their pricing. Um, and I'm happy to share those things. And then also on the fundraising side as well, like now kind of putting the technology hat on, like if we ever wanted to create a custom GPT, or something, a tool that is trained on everything DOI, Asian American, that I'm happy to like support you, like be your support, and we could create something so it's written in the voice and it's written in, it's got our institutional information in there and that kind of thing. Um, but I don't want to commit to being part of the committee because
Okay.
Okay. So you'll be our consultant.
So Yao, we good with this project management part of it, right? So I think Julie wants to talk about fundraising and Part wants to share the app idea. And this meeting was originally requested by Prod, and I just keep on adding things on top of it because whenever people are available, we try to catch them and say, let's talk, right? So I guess we're done with this part, right? And then I'll just share the access info with you after. And also, Zoho, it has a CRM that links to some of this program. And especially, when you have multiple teams, who you talk to, how you talk to them, the content, that is a record itself. And also when you're doing fundraising, talking to potential sponsors and outreaching to someone, you could always write a note under that person's name so that when you have multiple teams working together, you click on that name and you'll be able to read through the notes of the previous interactions. So I'll share the access and take your time to play around those things. So
No. Weihao, you feel pretty comfortable already. I know you've been talking to Celine on this project management tool and or CRM tool, whatever we call it. So you feel pretty comfortable to use this thing for
Yeah,
because your program is a really heavy task right now. I mean, program
Yeah,
this.
correct, correct. Yeah, that's why I already met with Celine. I gone over the
Okay,
tutorial
you're
already.
good, huh, with this?
No worry,
Okay,
we are
great.
good. So yes, I am excited to get the team together and start moving. So good to have a tool. So good to actually begin the work. So I want to make sure that Paul have the time to talk about the app that
Okay,
we
good.
discussed. Go ahead, Prof.
Sure. Did you want me to go first, or did you want to go?
Go ahead.
Should Julie go first on fundraising? Either way.
Oh,
I
you
think we
go
set
ahead.
up for
You go
the
ahead.
tag. We set up for the app. Let's go with the app first.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, go
Cool.
ahead.
Okay, great. So one of the things that and I'll share my screen too. Um, so typically, whenever we're working with clients, so a little bit also just kind of around me and my team, and then also clients. So I'm here in India. I actually have co-founded a AI consultancy company. My co-founder, he's in Pune, which is another city. It's kind of like a Sacramento-ish type of city. And then we have a team of like three folks currently. And one person is an account manager, one person is a developer, and the other person is more on the UI side, right? So this is something that, and then whenever I'm working on projects where I'm part of like the organizing team, I usually get involved because I want it to be a certain standard. And then the way that we typically work it, we create a stakeholder map. So like, who are we actually serving? Who's going to be impacted by this solution? And so I put this in our DOI group. It's kind of small. Okay, okay, great. So I put this in our DOI group, and this really gives us like a really nice visual. So first is confirming, yes, these are all the different stakeholders of this particular solution. This is who we're serving. As I mentioned earlier, it's great to have a place where you can gather everyone's ideas. Um, but then as we kind of move forward, we'll move forward in phases. But there's a stakeholder map. So first we like as a team bless this that yes, okay, we have community members, we have kind of choose your own path. And by the way, thank you, Weihao. Weihao and I talked about this several weeks ago. And so we were noodling on this and we're like, okay, how do we keep things like what is the minimum viable product, the MVP? What is going to be the biggest use case, which is going to be around the conference. So some integration pieces around that. And then post conference, what's going to, what would we want to be, what kinds of features or what kinds of organizational activities would we want to support? So through numerous conversations with Wayhow, this is kind of what we've come up with. And then also had a chat with Celine too, 2 weeks ago. So the vision of the app would be, so these are all the stakeholders, kind of just taking all the spaghetti right now that we put on the wall and creating a visual map. So just take a moment to kind of go through this. So these are all the different kind of, you could say 8 communities or segments of individuals. So first is you have community members, then you have choose your own path. And we wanted to keep it really simple. Like if somebody came in, they could, of course, connect with others, create their own profile. But then what are the call to actions that we'd want an end user to do? They could either lead a committee, they could volunteer, they could donate, they could attend an event. I'll go into the white pieces in a moment, a little bit. And then we have business owners, and then we have volunteers and like team leads, volunteer leads. And of course, we have sponsors and donors. Then we've got conference attendees, which would really be the big crescendo to what we would want to lead up to. And then maybe during that period of time, we'd have a more full-blown like conference um, app, for lack of a better word, where it would show the attendees like where to go, what have you signed up for, and then after a certain piece of that programming is complete, okay, rate your session, rate your speaker, provide a little feedback piece of it. And then I think to integrate with Warehouse Vision and the team's vision, programming team's vision on Sunday, is as people provide their input at the end of the day, Saturday, you have all that input, and then now the programming team is equipped with that feedback, and that feedback can then be presented on Sunday. It's like, hey, everyone, this is what everybody has provided, and then now the ideation can continue as to, okay, now how do we, as a community, create a solution for that? Um, and then this is where the charter piece comes in as well. So that's cool. That was a really great idea way how I had around creating a charter. And you could have, okay, I digitally sign, very similar to charters that different, like I think particularly I've seen in like the Democratic Committee, where you sign a charter and you can digitally commit to, yes, I'm part of this initiative, this movement. And then media and org leadership is kind of a smattering of that here. And then, and these are all the stakeholders, right? Um, and then the vision of this map, or rather this app, at some point too, because there's the informational piece of how will they serve different stakeholders along the path, and then there's a revenue piece as well. So at some point, if we wanted to turn a revenue engine on, it'd be really cool to integrate if we had Asian American business owners that paid to be on the app, right? Let's say the founder of Panda Express, as an example, right? They could pay a nominal fee as a donation to the organization to be on the app. And then if a user, say, in my case would be Parth, let's say I'm logging in a certain time, I've volunteered, I've had a really great time volunteering, now I want to lead an event, like all those things could have um, frequent flyer mile style reward system, right? So points and rewards. So as Wei and I were noodling, he was like, yeah, it'd be so cool to have points and rewards. I'd be like, yeah, how cool would it be to have an app that like tracked that? And then that could then be redeemed for discounts um, for these Asian American business owners, right? So, as we're noodling those ideas, and then we could have like in terms of the app navigation, this is just version one would have like a home, events, community, my path, and then profile. This is of course just a version one here. But then just to keep it simple. And then lastly, I would share is um, I'll get into some possible UI directions in a moment. But the other thing that I would share is it's really, I'll stop sharing my screen for just a moment, is that it's really important to break things up into phases. Because if we try to do everything for everyone, then we'll kind of end up doing nothing for anyone. And so as we collect maybe the first phase, as we've done this initial ideation between Weihao and Celine and myself, and now all of us, is to gather as much feedback from the committee or committee members, like give them an opportunity, invite them, to provide feedback in kind of their blue sky scenario. What would an amazing app entail, right? And what would they like to see? So then, number one, it kind of gives them the opportunity to provide their feedback. We've got like a wish list, and then we start breaking things up into phases. Then we can really organize, okay, this is our minimum viable product, which is going to be at the end of phase one. We can even launch something probably by like July 1st, right? Maybe, or by Independence Day could be a rollout, like at some point in July. And then phase two, and then phase three, and then like so on and so forth. Um, so that's how we're envisioning in terms of like the path of the rollout. Let's see, what else could I share? Um, Yeah, I think that's what I've got so far. Would love to get everyone's thoughts up until now.
So parts, this will be run on your cell phone, right? That's the app. Okay.
Yeah, so the Blue Sky, the vision would be that it would actually be an app that you could just download on the Apple Play Store, or
Okay.
you could download on Android. Now that could be phase three. So phase
Okay.
one would be let's create a thesis. Let's prove our thesis. Let's create a web app so you can log in through a
Okay.
URL and make sure all the features and all the functionalities and all those things work as is designed. When you're pushing things through iOS and Android, I don't know what the latest costings and process are, but there is a little bit of like validation process that has to
Okay.
happen with them. But then we can get users. Um, well, we've proven a thesis, we've got a product, and then we've got users using it, and then it can get pushed to the App Store. The other piece too, in terms of getting users up front is I know there's a lot of really great events that are coming up. Wayhal has an event this weekend, next weekend. I think a couple of other committee members mentioned that there's like a 20,000 person event, and a 10,000 person
Mhm.
event, and a 15,000 person event. So what we could do is we could create a very simple sign up sheet, a sign up form. And I think actually Celine may have even done that already, um, where there's a QR code and you just zap the QR code. Here's we're building this community application, this community platform, sign up, right? So then the moment that we're rolling out, once we have phase one and we have people's names and email addresses, boom, they get early invitation to join the app. So then we start having users. And that actually makes registration for the event way easier too, because now we've got a good 3 months leading up to the event. Um, and then what we're really open to, go ahead, Wei, did you want to share something? I felt like you wanted to
My
say something.
question is just now you show the map, where would be the phase one? Is
Oh,
it
okay. Yeah, I actually have to break out. I have to do a little digging and map that out. I've not yet done that. Um, so that's a Parth item to kind of share. Now that Zoho Projects is on, is created, I'll share on there. So that's something I haven't yet done.
so we wouldn't know what is feasible until you tell us what is the phase one, phase two you suggest, right? Based on we align with the mapping just now for the most part. And if that is the, pie in the sky right now, maybe you tell us what is the phase one possible be done in the month or this month or
Yes,
next month, something like that, right? So
to totally. So first is, I mean, this is more of a group question, is do we want to provide an opportunity for people, like other committee members, to provide their input? So we've captured all of that. And then now that I've got all of that information, then I can organize it into phases? Or do we want to just say, we just want to kind of proactively say, okay, well, this is what we're building and this is what we're going to do in phase one, right? So once I have all that, once I have everything that we're trying to build, then I can phase it out, if that makes sense. So that was a question to the team before I started to timeline things out, is how did we want to go about, um, yeah, going about like the wish list of the features and functionalities. Do we want to
I think
ask
one thing.
everybody? Sorry, go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe if you can, I'm sure we all have some experiences with all kind of event apps in the past, but maybe just we come up with some basic functionality and gave a prototype, and then we can then push to the team for inputs to see any additional features or functionality that people wants to add in. But we have a basic stuff to just to present as a first phase one.
Sure. And then phase one, are we looking purely for just event management app, or are we looking also for this community participation piece where, you log in, you have a user profile, you can either do like volunteer, you could do multiple participation pathways. How would we weight the priority right now? Is it,
Is it?
which would,
Yeah, I'm just thinking that may be two separate features, right? Aspect of the app. One is for internal use, for people who will sign on or participate, volunteer. That's probably one part of the functionality. The other one is a public facing. If people want to come to join, they can download the app so they can see where things are. There's a map of the park. There's a event agenda, what time, dinner will be where, whatever, that kind of a thing. Just like when I go to, for example, I go to Disney with my daughter, we have the app. So we download the app, we know where to go, we know where things are, even tell me where I am in the park so I don't get lost, things like that. So one is for us to use internally. The second part, I was thinking maybe just a public facing.
great. Yep. All great ideas. Absolutely. And so we can actually build, going back to the screen share. Um, yeah, and to create like a login, user profile login is not very complicated. So, if we had these like five basic menu items on the bottom, and then whatever the UI would look like for each of these, you can click on my profile, create an event, or you can use this as a guest, and then see these other four pages.
I'm wondering, Celine, how I know your big thing on your website, you want to build a community engagement function, right? Basically, everybody, especially people, don't have to think they represent any organization. Just individual come here. I'm interested in these things. We can easily get them engaged. I can see part the one you're building here also does that. Is that would be our first. I do agree with Wei Hao and Judy that part if you wait for the community to provide feedback, you might wait for a long time. The people. However, if you throw something out, prototype, or just as you call it, MVP, right, minimum viable product, whatever that, as long as functions, you throw out there, let them use it, and then you'll get a feedback start coming back because people don't, if you ask them, what do you want to build this, they can't imagine. But if you give them something to you, they'll start criticize, this one doesn't work, this one. So it seems there is that dynamic. But anyway, that just when I look at this. So Celine, what do you think, how this can be really useful help? What you've always been proposing, how do we engage everybody, no matter where they come,
My question
pick
for
up
you,
from
Prof,
where they
is
are.
that Pavel, my question for is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I think I need more information from you instead of you asking me because I don't know what time or effort takes to do all this 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't tell me this take 2 days or this take 3 days, I have no reference what to tell you what is priorities. Because if I understand some part of it take 2 months to do, I say, okay, wait till the event to do that. And now you can do the profile. That's quickly done. So you need to give me more information in order to tell you what to prioritize.
Beautiful. And like what I was thinking was just in terms of like giving people a time limit to provide feedback. Um, and again, I'm just putting out an approach, and this could be applicable or not applicable, is like, hey, everyone, you've got, by next Wednesday, we'd love to get all your feedback, right? And then once that period is over, their period is over. But, or by this Friday, what's your wish list, right? Kind of thing. I just think something like that does really well for consensus building. So then when you've actually built something, then people are like, oh, okay. Like, I said this, and then it actually reduces the amount of critiques as you move along. Um, so I think once I have kind of all of those pieces and a very clear, like, this is what it's going to do, this is what it's going to do, yeah, then I can totally build out a timeline and a timeout.
No, but we are saying now you can already, according to this, you can build a prototype before we go to the community.
Okay, cool. So then next, what I'll do is let me timeline this out, and then that'll be my next step, is to timeline this out and like how much time would each of the phases be?
Yeah.
Let's just play out this a little bit. Let's say I know you have some event you already organized. That's pretty quickly. I don't know whether there's because I always feel any product, any app, whatever, when you actually have a event, as a user case, actually use it, you'll learn so much from there. That's
Yeah, better.
seems better than we discuss anything. I mean, we can imagine, so I'm just thinking, I know Weihao, yours is pretty close, right? End of this month or
It's
something.
this Saturday. So
Okay, so that's probably too short to do anything, right? But I'm thinking something like that, any community event, and we can actually test out your tool. That would be so useful. I mean, those information would be so useful to us.
Cool.
So I'm sharing my experience, and so I built website and a number of apps before. I had this discussion with Wei Hao and Prof, and you all know what kind of platform I use and the steps and process that I've been through. Number one is when I build apps and website for my clients, my small business owners and whoever they are, I always tell them this thing is not built for you. It's not built for that person just to, be proud and say, hey, I got a website, I got an app, come see it. And I said that to say I built it for their customers. I don't care you like yellow, blue, red. I'm gonna build it green because your customers like that. So I appreciate the intention of having, committees and some of us, the stakeholders, to come up with ideas and what they want and test it out and say how it features. But our program does not stay within the 30 people that we have right now. And it's been talked about for several meetings. People knew that if they want any features, they had enough time to put in a group chat or let us know what they want. And I'm not going back and forth just to make sure every person had the opportunity to say. Same thing when we trying to have our national event, the location, we repeat the thing for like 3 or 4 months, and there's still people, thinking how it happens and all that. So to me, we had this meeting, we had some previous meeting, we could put a check mark on getting the committee's consensus and all that, in regards to features and what it needs to be. Another thing is, when we have an app, it's more, even though, technology allows the progressive web app, you don't have to go through the Google and Apple store, but having to be able to get approval from the store, it makes it more legit because they check for, potential buyers, functionalities, hiccups around the technology, whatever. So if anything is coded wrong, or if anything in the app where there's a link and people click and nothing happens and it has like a, bad request, Apple would not approve that app to be even on the store because that is Apple and Google's reputation. People who go there to download apps, they're not thinking about this particular company or app developer. They're thinking, hey, I bought an iPhone. And if they all full of trash apps, then I'm not using iPhone and MacBook and all that. So it costs them their business and reputation. So that's why they're very strict about it. I would say go ahead and create something that has enough features just to get the approval. And it could be like version 1, version 2, version 3, and the different things being added to it. We could just, update on the App Store, but get the initial qualifications out of the way. Another thing is if we didn't have an Apple or Google download, people somehow get the app through the web download or whatever. By the time we have the App Store precisions, it's a trouble to have to tell them, hey, we got our app on Apple. Now you have to go to that store and download it, or we have to send them that link. Otherwise, they will keep that old version on their phone, which we probably give up on updating it along the way anyway. Along with that, I wanted to say there was something, I think it's called geofence, push notification. If people were going to an event, let's say a festival, a conference, wherever they may be, they may not already know about the app or have downloaded, but there's everyone has the GPS on their phone. And if you're within like, 50 feet or, a quarter mile from it, they get the notification on their phone just to have something going on in that area. And I wanted to look into it. If we could get that for people to download the app, it would be amazing. Because people who are going to, let's say, for example, if I was at the Jack Miller Center this weekend and everyone there was about the civic engagement, education, and instead of walking around passing out business card and talking to people, I'll turn on the geofence and people's phone is going to get messages and say, hey, download this app. We're about civics and stuff. So check into that. And we have multiple things going on, and this app is not limited to the national event, especially now we are having, the charter and what's going on after the event, right? So our whole initiative has, its main project, and then Wei Hao has his project. Right here, Tai has a festival going on coming up in a few days. Margaret and some other people, we are doing different things, different places. So it's like a one-stop shop. When people come into the app, they see a link that goes to our website or somewhere to say, this is about us, this is all we do. And then they will have a link to our community panel. Some of y'all have been to. They have a link to May 30 event. They have link to, June 30 event. They have a link to the national event. So all of them, there's the priority would be whatever is the most, the closest one that are happening. Because we are trying to drive traffic. Each one of them builds engagement to the national event. So, and then whatever happens after the national event. So it's a one-stop place. People have the same app on their in their palms, and they could see, the whole picture of what they can get involved in. And as far as internal, we could have a link. It just makes it easier for the internal people that are working so that we don't have like 20 apps on our phone. So we can have one app, but you just need to put a link to Zoho or whatever we may be working on. And then people would click on that to log into it, because, the feature of the app is engagement and interaction. And of course, for business to post their ad, and we showcase them on different pages or on rotation so that they get that exposure because the potential customer is there. But the app will be, how, so basically this is like the phone screen and there's different things on it. So when they log into our app, they're going to have different icons of this icon goes to Warehouse event. That icon goes to Philadelphia event. That icon goes to business directory, or that icon goes to, tell your story, which is volunteering for the community or whatever they do. So I guess same concept, just like what we have in Zoho, different categories and different branches.
Yeah, that sounds great. And then do we want to also list like a list of upcoming events? Like, as we're so like let's say we build something a phase one in like by July 1st or something. Do we want a list of all the different events that are coming up between July and September for people to plug in, things like that?
If we have, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But that should be, just like the website, we have a back end office so we could update as things happening. Who knows, Weihao may do something every month. Or every week, right?
Yeah, Weihao is very busy. There's not only for how you handle your local, this national program development is a major task. But
Yeah,
Well,
which
since we
I
have
think.
already
Go ahead. Which I think is that there will be more event by July 4th. So if you can get the beta out by July 4th, I'm really thinking an event here on July 4th. So we shall move local event by like a beta this app into local event in July 4th. So we can start testing the app before our September, right? So, but I also think that just now the part Julie says important. If the app now have public information for people to know about a September event, and they can even use it to buy their tickets, and that's already give them enough information to begin to engage for our September event. So have a simple part that they know what the event's about, and they begin to get interested and find the information all there and be able to RSVP their tickets. So
Yeah,
that will,
download the app now and get $5 discount.
yeah, promotion. So
Just curious, if you want to go through the Apple Store app route, how long does it take?
Uh,
So,
um, Go ahead, Celine. You probably know a little bit more about that.
so the approval 24, 48 hours if the app is meeting the compliance and all of their requirements. There is some work because you have to put the description, you have to take screenshots, and you know, it's Google and Apple Store. It's a as advertising page, so you gotta put as many details on it so people feel like they learn enough about the app so they could download it. Um, but when you use a reliable or stable app builder, they have existing codes that are matching those app stores. So, you know, and they also have a beta version. So when we put our app on the app store, before you push to publish publicly, they'll give you a link. So all of us get to download it first. And we test it whatever way we want to.
And how will they charge the fee for this for the
Apple
app
Store
store?
is $100 a year to have an account. Google Console is $25 a year to have an account. And then the app just stays there. What we need to pay is the app hosting. And, of course, any labor involves in designing and, making it look like an app,
So
right?
there's no, so those fees are not related to the number of downloads?
No,
No.
as
Okay,
long
good.
as the app is hosted somewhere, it has no limit on download. So also, some commercial apps, the way they sustain is to have enough feature in it so people pay. Like if you were to download a exercise app that shows all the moves for yoga and whatever, right? They charge $19 a month, that kind of thing. So that's how those apps make money. But for us, we need to sustain by uh, the sponsors, the business directories, and probably ticket sales from the event and some other things. I unless the app has, let's say for example, we do something that people really want, um, leadership coaching, culture, sensitivity, whatever, and we put them into mini course or something that's exclusive to the app, right? And we charge people like, pretend that we are our own sponsor and we have those coaching programs and we want people to be specifically involved, not just by telling them a slogan and telling them, hey, you need to, but we actually teach them how to. And that's, a purpose of our event anyway. But you charge people $5 a month for accessing certain information like that or whatever, those would help sustain the app too.
Wow, that's awesome. Let's make another charter now. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It can be for long-term use. So
Well, we have
Yes,
to
that's
keep it
true.
long term. Otherwise, we don't want to have 2,000 people sign up and after an event, and then we say, okay, we go bankrupt, everything closed. Can
The whole
even pay
idea.
$10 a month to keep it up?
I think Celine, when she began to build this website, we've been discussed this before, and Weihao had this idea too, of course, suggesting for charter. The idea is we're not just doing this one national event that's gone, because this should be a starting point for continual civic engagement for the AAPI community. However we do it, we need to, I mean, once we've done the initial one, we have website, we have a community build and start to turn into something else. So name however we want to do it, but it will become a platform for continual API community engagement. That's the reason, Wei Hao, I think when you propose the charter, it's a good idea because we need to set some goals. We're not just doing this for one-time thing, and to actually try to create some continual, sustainable impact. So, but anyway, so I understand that's behind it. However, right now we need to focus, get this even done well. So generating the impact, generating the attention, and then continue to perpetuate. So that's another reason why Celine has been, well, she actually shared the idea with me many times. I understand that the purpose is not one-time thing. We want to see what we can sustain, right? That's if this software or system or the service we're providing become valuable, not only some foundations and funders like to support, but also probably the community people want to continue engage, and then that would be wonderful. But we don't know yet. We just have to, I told Celine, we just know this is the right direction, but we don't know how far we can go, right? Just have to keep moving and see where we lead to.
Yeah, we drag everybody into it first and see.
But thank you for all these exciting ideas. I think this is we're in AI era, and there's so many things that we couldn't do before. And parts, this, and now we can do. The question is still back to the fundamental. I mean, AI can do the 99% of perspiration, but we still need a human to do that 1% inspiration. That's what we're doing. What's the meaning? Why we do this, right? You still have to
Absolutely.
come back to that.
Absolutely. Like being here, being in this field for now like 2 years, we realize like it doesn't replace human intelligence or spiritual intelligence. Like that's something that an AI, especially to get something really stable and deployed, we're still far from like hit a button and it works. Um, so,
Well, you
then
still
maybe
have to answer the question of why. Why we even do this, right? You still have to answer that question.
uh,
At least we know why we do this, right?
and
Anyway,
then we can maybe even from a fundraising perspective or like our overall organizational cost perspective, create a budget item for like technology and these pieces. Um, and I put a little message on our group chat, so like if I'm supporting this in a volunteer capacity, it would just be me, all right? So I'm handling other existing and kind of other existing clients. So our timeline might be a little bit slower, right? And steady. If there is some kind of investment or a budget that's available, then I can enlist my team and we can go a little bit faster. So just a couple of other factors to keep in mind.
yeah, we're good. That's a major topic for the fundraising. We will set different standards and raise as much money as we can, right? Even though we are going to develop a budget, if there are rooms for, definitely we want to also compensate, the people who made contribution. I mean, the things can change, but we first have to make sure the event can work. I know we all volunteers, but if we have the resource, we need to compensate where we can. So that's kind of just a priority. Priority is to get things done, and then we'll figure out if we have resource, and if we can sustain this, that would be good, because that's how you can maintain the momentum, move forward. Celine even have a brilliant idea. Celine, I just share with everybody. Remember you talk about charter and we begin the drafting. Now we're sending to everybody to give comment, right? So one idea Celine said, once we finalize that, why not talk to the American 250 committee, because they're the leader on to do this, and make our charter as part of the material to be buried, in this thing for the 250 years. And then 250 years later, when they open this, our charter's in there. This is a group of Asian Americans actually thinking about to do these things. But anyway, we don't know how much chance we have, but Celine and I, we did met with some commissioners from the committee at the last week's event, and we both had a good conversation. And I'm being following up with those people, talking about American time capsule, but I haven't thought about actually bury that together. But Celine proposed the idea. Okay, We'll ask, say whatever, right? They can only say no, right? That's okay. Because now they're collecting artifact to put into the time capsule from all 50 states. Of course, you have to justify, you have to have a reason, and we will try to justify, to see why our piece need to be part of things put into the time capsule. So we'll see. But I think the first thing first is I really need everybody who have a chance to read the draft and then provide feedback. Celine already did hers, and then I'm asking around again. We still have some time before the July 4th, because July 4th is the date they're going to bury this time capsule. If we want to do something, we need to make this happen. We need to move. And then both Celine and I will approach American 250 National Commission to propose the idea and see what they say, right?
Okay,
Celine,
Pop,
another idea, right? Go ahead.
Pop, you have everything you need for the prototype.
I do. Yep. I think I'm clear on my next steps.
Okay, all right.
I'll update everybody in a few days.
Okay. But today, what's your show already? Major advancement from the last show. So we know you're moving. So
Thank you.
Um, should we move on to Julie if you wanted to share your ideas, or would that be another meeting? I saw you send me a meeting invite for tomorrow night. Does that involve different group of people or?
Yeah, I sent an invite to you, Xiaoyan, and Jack. So whoever is interested, is welcome to join. But so far, we have three people for, tomorrow evening.
Okay. Would you like to share anything here, or because even though Prague and Weihao have their main things, but they're very happy to help out
Sure.
on
Yeah,
any
I
fundraising needs too.
yeah. I just have some general let me see here. Let me pull it out. General ideas about based on my experience from the organizing the events before. So typically for looking for we're looking for top level sponsors, right? So we have in our event we have the title sponsor, which is the major sponsor. They basically cover most of the cost of the event. So the title sponsor, it could depending on the scale, depending on what we do, there could be 100,000 or even more 200,000, depending on the estimate our cost of the events. Basically, the title sponsor is going to have their naming rights. They'll have like keynote speakers. They have a maximum visibilities, media, everything, media coverage. Basically, you will say, for example, if we have Tesla, this will be a Tesla DOI 250 AA event conference or something. So it will be under their name basically. This is the top level, right? Title sponsor. The second level could be a presenting sponsor. That will be probably half, like 50K for they will be on the main stage, or you can have a sponsor say the entire event name and then buy, like say PNC. So they could be like a main stage branding. They will have a media coverage. They will have the keynote speakers. Uh, Not as much as the title because title is almost like say this is almost like my event, right? So the presenting sponsor is saying, okay, I'm the bigger name on the main stage. And then the next level, we have a gold sponsor, 25K. You can have a VIP table. You can have a media reference on our website, all the publications, accessibilities. Silver will be a one level down, 10K. They will be less visibility, but they will have they'll be on the program. They will have their logo placement. And then the minimum level is the community sponsors. They can have a recognition on the website, on the logo, on banners, and things like that. So it's one, two, three, four, five, roughly 5 levels of sponsorship. That's what I'm thinking. Um, as far as how the way the sponsorship can go, it mostly the top level sponsorship, they basically cover your cost like a cash contribution, presenting sponsorship contribution, but they can also be a in-kind sponsorship too. They can be we sponsor the dinner or catering, for example, that'll be a in-kind sponsorship. Or you can have a hospitality sponsor saying, for example, the wherever the conference site saying, okay, instead of charging you this much fees, we will sponsor you. So no charge for holding your conference here, no charge for using the facility. That's kind of hospitality sponsorships. So pretty flexible. All kinds of this is basically the idea of different categories of sponsorship. So the first thing I would say, because you guys have been talking to different level of organizations, including American 250, which could be one of the main source of sponsorship, I would imagine. Um, so maybe first we collect a list of parties, potential sponsors. I mean, I'm sure Xiao Yan and Lin, you probably already have a list in mind. So maybe we can share some resources where, everybody has in this regard. So how do you like the category? Is that something we need to modify, to add, or something?
I'm in agreement. The title sponsor would probably be more customizable, where the other ones, you have a number of, you know, whatever amount, then they are whatever tiers. But the highest one could be more customized. We're not limiting ourselves to 100,000 or whatever that could be negotiated upon. So think about it this way. America 250 is one of the most attention-seeking event of the year in America and globally as well. And for the America 250 Commission sponsorship, their minimum is 100,000 and up to millions. And if you're looking at their website, whoever the sponsor are, they're like, huge companies. So even though we're not the commission one, but our event does show on their calendar. We are one of the very few Asian American led ones. And, we are a supporting partner. Let's just say even lower a little bit of, the visibility and level and all that, but still, to get their to get their exposure through our platform, it's a privilege rather than I'm begging somebody next door, some neighborhood people, and say, hey, can you give me $50 to support my event, right? So another thing is contact. Well, there are some foundations and all that, they are already supporting certain cause. There are other ones that are, business. So for them, it's a return on investment. So we got to contact their marketing department, the one that have the budget to spend on marketing, because having the activation, having the speech, stage time, having a booth there, having their logo show all over our website, app, and social media and wherever place, it's marketing exposure to them. So they have the money, and if they're going to spend money on Super Bowl and FIFA and wherever they need to spend that money on, ours is one of those platform as well. So another thing is the matching of the client. Let's say, for example, we know the people that are interested in our event are professionals, are immigrants, are people who want to grow in, professional and leadership spaces. And these people, for some reason, they may travel to events and conference. So, like airlines and luggage companies or pillow or headphone, whatever things relevant to travel, hotels, right? And then these people may be interested in professional tools. So something like Zoho, something like Zoom, something like, whatever productivity kind of companies, we could look for sponsorship from them as well, because there's opportunity for them to sell their system. Um, and there's just different things. We have to make sure that it is good experience for our attendees. We cannot abuse the people that came to our event, and 400 people pay $500 to sit there. If they're going to have to listen to a speaker talk half hour about their products, it has to be something they also interested in using as well. It's not just, hey, I sell laundry detergent or whatever. So their presentation is both content to our program as well as a sales pitch. And then for I've seen, totally understand the naming, right? I've seen Amazon, Sephora, Verizon, some of these companies, Visa, some of these companies, they pay for the whole entire event, and some people are able to go for free. So, yeah, I think it's a great idea. We just need to, focus and make sure that we approach in the right way that works for everyone. Actually, we had this conversation, Jack, Dr. Zhang, and Jeannie, um, having these Teslas go on to the outdoor event and just park a few of them there and let them do their dance. That started with Dr. Zhang's car, because that's a attraction to the people. And actually, when you have Tesla, or Cybertruck or one of those companies come out, they want to sell that vehicle for 100,000, but they let people ride on them. When the outdoor is hot, when it's raining, they let people sit inside so they could have a place to sit while they're watching the event, while they're pressing the different buttons, testing different features. And there's a salesperson sitting in there collecting their information for follow-up. But those are the companies that have the budget, because when they come out here, they know whatever they sell makes them that money they need to make. So
Yeah, I
But
think those are great ideas. Um, for each different categories, for example, even we have like a title sponsor. I think that yeah, American 250 is a big name. Yeah, as you said, I agree with Celine said. They could be multiple title sponsor. Doesn't have to be one. Yeah, so some companies, some, maybe contributing, like 200K thousand, some maybe just like American 250. Basically, we use their name, prestige, and as the event, promoting our event. In that sense, they could be a co-title sponsor. And the same thing, same applies to each category. You can be a presenting or uh, presenting sponsorship, or there could be multiple. It doesn't have to be, single one. Um, uh, we have the breakout sessions. There could be even some, smaller breakout session sponsorship. Yeah, there could be all kinds of, varieties. We are I think we need to be flexible. However, want to, companies want to contribute or participate. We try to accommodate the way, they fit both sides, and make it fit. And the in-kind sponsorship, um, yeah, also include, for example, service companies or companies providing product or, certain goods or certain catering. Those are all in that
Mhm.
category. Yeah.
So, Julie, I think the overall idea is great, and then I think we can certainly. I know tomorrow you schedule a meeting with Jack and if other people. I'm asking Suji whether he wants to join us, but anyway, regardless, as we have a committee, I think your overall approach is great, and we just have to work out the logistics. The first, of course, we have to come up with a potential target, right, and potential candidate. For example, let's use Tesla example. Tesla can be a list, but if you invite Tesla to be title, and then NVIDIA might be feel a little bit left out, especially as Asian American lead, right? So I'm just thinking there's a lot of those little psyche, things we have to think about too. Approach whom first. You have to. I think the if we get Tesla be the title sponsor, put their name on there, NVIDIA, AMD might feel I should be there.
Hey,
Yeah,
let
if
them
it
Yeah,
finds the best,
have a little competition. Yeah, I know what you
let
mean.
them find
The
and see who
point
wants to give
is,
us more money.
we want to come up with a list
exactly.
and then have a strategy how to approach those, right? But all these are great ideas. And yes, I like the idea of a breakup component. For example, I'm just thinking about, let's say on the first, we have different occasions. Like first day, Celine, remember we talked about the whole event start on Saturday, because Saturday our volunteers, our people who work on this, key people have to be there first, right? To set up the same setup. Sunday is a big event. So for that day, just like JMC, Jack Miller Center did, we should have like a dinner or some kind of event before that. Get everybody together, recognize them, privately, with all the partners, everybody. Something like that. The in-kind contribution, we already have potential. For example, like this Chinatown, their operation, they probably will be one of our collaborators, and they have a space. They probably have us use the first space for free, and even maybe find some good catering locally, restaurant they might want to contribute. So definitely, I think in kind also is a good concept. And different levels, I like that because someone maybe just sponsor for a reception, some sponsor for the lunch, some sponsor for the dinner. Dinner, we still collect some money from individual, but if someone can sponsor that, then we reduce costs for tickets, right? And then and then of course we give them the corresponding recognitions, give them a chance to presentation and to talk at different occasions. So I think that concept, the structure Judy put together is I agree. I think it's good, but just how do we implement that? I think we can discuss that in more detail. But overall, I support Judy's idea. Parth and Weihao, you may have some good idea too. Just give us some.
Yeah, I mean, I echo basically what you said too as well. Like, wonderful, Julie. I love the different five levels of sponsorship and how you've laid it out.
And eventually we'll need everybody who may have a good connections to potential
Right, we need
sponsors.
to ask people to offer. Yeah, how do we
Yeah.
approach? Once we come up with a list of candidates by different category, then we can send to everybody in our planning committee to say who has the connection, who has the idea, how do we approach those, right? And then we'll follow up. Judy, this is where I can see already how can you use you can use this project management tool that Celine just shared with us as a tool to track who actually assigned to whom, right? And everybody can post their idea. How do we approach whom? And then you made assignment to say you follow up, this within 2 weeks, give us feedback or something, right? And so we can really get these things rolling and tracking and see
I
who
think
actually
one
and then
unique idea, one unique proposition we have for our event, different than many other event, is that some of these company we can approach them because of our commitment to promote civic participation of Asian American. So a lot
right.
of Asian American companies need to
Hmm.
their story to be told. So they have a better
Hmm.
buy-in, even for like Panda
Hmm.
Express, like right, they are
Yeah,
telling
you
us,
mentioned about Panda Express. That's
yeah,
definitely is a good potential. I
uh,
so Weihao, if you connect with this guy, I know his name. I had never talked to him directly. I see him in distance in some meetings. We would love to join you to try to persuade him to say, hey, you should be part of this, right?
yeah, let me reach out to one of my
Hmm.
associate colleague that actually direct connect with him, and he had sponsored
Hmm.
his employee to takes a lot of
Hmm.
manage development programs. So let me contact
That's
with
great.
that.
But
Yeah. Uh,
Judy, I can see there's another task beyond just compile a list of target is to actually have some kind of a sponsorship package, the contents, that probably we
Yes.
have to get together to make that produce. Celine, you have some experiences in that area too, right? To put
Yeah,
a
what's
package
what's
kind of,
the company that sells those glasses where you wear it? It's like a regular glass, but it has
but
a
itself really just.
A Ray-Ban?
translate.
No.
No, it has a translation thing. So you wear the glass, you listen to
Oh,
whatever
okay.
is going on, but it translates
Is
into
that
your own
Meta?
language.
Is that Meta? Meta, right? Meta,
Meta
Meta,
glasses?
Is that Google?
Google
Google.
Glass or Meta. I think I saw the Zuckerberg try to do something in that glass thing, something.
Yeah,
For
the
Yeah,
sure,
if they
AI
Meta.
glass.
sell those kind of
Meta has
things,
that.
we could use their service.
Parth, you have some good idea. Jump in.
Well, one thought also is, and I'm not sure how, like, I guess two options is we've got event-based fundraising, you're a title sponsor, but then there's also
Hmm.
organizational fundraising. So I don't know if there's an opportunity to weave in that, hey, you're not
Okay.
only sponsoring this event, but you're also like investing or donating, whatever the proper word is, for the long-term health of this
Hmm.
organization. And you're donating to this organization as a vehicle for making impact within the
Hmm.
larger Asian American community beyond the event.
Hmm.
Um, not sure how to like skillfully finesse that in there, but that's also like if I was thinking as a donor, I would think, okay, in addition to this event, then what do you have? And they could
This
either
is
be
where our chatter comes in. This is where the chatter comes in. What you just said. Beyond just this one event. That's what the Weihao be proposing too. Yeah, beyond just one event.
I
uh,
think I think this conversation is very great because when we work on different things, when we know the program is good, we know what kind of people attracting to this event, what kind of scenery, discipline structure is being put in for the person approaching sponsors, they feel more confident because they know they're inviting their sponsors to be exposed to, not just a legitimate, but a very diligently put together kind of event, right? And
Hmm.
then on the other side, when you're putting effort in creating the app and setting up the program, you also know what kind of sponsors, what kind of people are paying attention to what's going on. So um, the kind of collaboration is not just alignment, but everybody knows how to put the cake together and what kind of icing to put on it.
I
So we
think
have,
before beyond major sponsor, Prof isn't have very great idea in getting individual donations,
yeah,
right?
individual, yeah, we'll continue to,
Yeah.
yeah, push that as well. Yeah, that's
Prof
right.
isn't you have driven Indonesia donation, even $5, $10 is not the money, it's actually the more you can prove that your public actually wants something, you
Hmm.
have the then the bigger buy-in of the big company.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I actually, this just reminded me, I actually saw that on the American 250 website yesterday. They have a donation for July 4th. So they encourage everybody sign up to make a donation. And that will be the biggest donation in the whole history of the country. So on that day, not today, you sign up, you're not donating today. You have to wait until July 4th. And then
Hmm.
they'll send you a reminder. Now's the time to donate. It's like a 1 day thing. Everybody in the country donate. So it's a pretty powerful thing. So we probably should, just think about those lines. We can do something for Asian American site on the website, send it to
Hmm.
everyone to make a donation. Doesn't matter if $5, $10. But you know what? If there's a huge amount of, sign up, that makes a difference.
Hmm.
We need to drive traffic, because like right now we have limited, people that follow us just yet. So, when we have a good size of audience, we can send that kind of message out. But this is something to be built over time. Again, I'm glad that this is not just a one-time event. So whatever we build this time, um, whoever comes to the event, whoever pays attention to our website, we continually build that audience. And there's going to be one day we just have so many people to reach out and send that kind of message. So we set up with Give Butter. That platform from time to time, they have like, their promotions and incentive. So when people donate on a certain date, whatever amount collected for that day, they also match like additional 10, 15% to add on top and give to us that kind of money. So, I think America 250 has like a thing that everybody donate like $2.50 or whatever, just small enough, but it adds up, it's like a toll bridge, right? Everybody pays $1 to get through, then in a day you make $1 million. But they have like some kind of sweepstake or something, like everyone who donate have a chance to win some money, but eventually they're gonna get more than whatever they give out anyway.
So Celine, you mentioned that
And
actually that means we also need to get to the subcommittee for the promotion, right? And marketing promotion part set up too. But it's okay. Right now, let's focus on program, fundraising key, and then logistic. Those are, and then of course promotion. Yes. But
and if there
yeah, we're moving. Start. Go ahead. Go ahead, Parth.
Oh, and then Celine made a really good point too of like matching donors. So if there's like OPI or some of the other Asian American networking organizations that are typically have like a 30 to 50-year-old kind of demographic of networking professionals, or if there are like even two or three matching funders, whether it's for the event or for the organization, that's really powerful because
Hmm.
you've just like you've 2x'd whatever's coming in, and then you're setting a little timeline like, hey, if we raise this much by this time, we're gonna get a matching donor.
Hmm.
Um, a mutual friend that Weihao and I know runs a foundation. Weihao Ernie, he runs a foundation, and so many years ago. I created we had an online summit during COVID time, so it was on Zoom for empowering boys in middle school and high school. And what we did was, because all of us guys, we used to be boys back in the day, and we learned from our role models, and then we actually created a youth component. So, and it was just a half a day youth component, like just 4 hours, and we had brought in young people to come and lead workshops. So they participated in some of the workshops, and then we had also kind of groomed them prior to lead a workshop or two. That's all it took. Is just like we have a youth track, and so all of a sudden having a youth track validated matching donors, particularly in Ernie's case, because he's really passionate about empowering young men. And so that could also be another angle. So if we have a youth track, then that could also validate future grants as well, under the kind of auspices of Asian youth empowerment. That could be another possibility.
Yeah, put that in like your I guess project management, and then assign or task list or whatever those ideas. I was you know, looking through my son's text, April 15, we do it like 11:55 p.m. just to submit the paperwork. So he had donated to Give Butter. It shows on his account. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? So what it is that his fraternity group, he's a chair, but and then he ended up telling me more stories. So a lot of fraternity groups, because the college, they want the students to be more involved, to be a part of the civic society and all that. Of course, not just Asian American or not, us, but they just want them to be involved. So the fraternity group, they do things to fundraise, they collect money within themselves, and whatever, and they raise, a particular amount of money, and in this case was $1,000. So the kids sell him the money, and then he used his account and donated to Give Butter to an organization, and they just randomly choose one that's just big enough and famous enough because that's what they do. And I looked at it, I was like, I missed the chance. I sent him our website. I tell him, hey, we got a big Give Butter account too. You got to do it next year if you guys are doing the same thing. But you know, we could potentially reach out to these different clubs and social clubs, college clubs, and let them know we are one of those organizations that are doing something. Also in grocery stores, sometimes they have these foundations. People could choose to donate the loose change to them, and it adds up. But the thing is, we need to be getting our name out there to let people know that we are uh, one of those organizations that actually do things, not just, the neighborhood association.
I think
And
for the
and
communities donations, probably need some help from the Philadelphia local uh, sponsor,
Mhm.
Matt. It's a Matt Zhang, right? Matt.
Yeah.
On his team, maybe somebody can reach out to the locals there to get a sponsorship in different kind.
Hmm.
another angle, just throwing this out there, is Asian American actors and actresses. So, there's so many actresses in Hollywood, so many actors in Hollywood, so many Asian American, contributors who are like Emmy award winning. Maybe that's another possible angle. Now, I'm just kind of letting my ideas go
Hmm.
here, but and they like for them to have to fight through as Asian Americans. Bruce Lee Foundation, for instance, right, had to really fight through like what was the dominant narratives of their time and
Hmm.
become prolific. So leading with that, with our vision of the contributions of Asian Americans in the evolution of United States, like that would really resonate with them. And we get a couple of those. Who is a person who there's at least a handful of like everything all at once. There's a really, really famous Asian American actress. She's in her 60s now. I forget her name.
Michelle
There's
Oh,
Yeoh.
another. Right. There's another person who I think was played a superhero, something Simu, that's his last name.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a
Sing.
He's from China. Yeah, I know. But he's actually a Canadian though. But that's okay. But he's a Canadian actor. I think Weihao, what you're saying that's from Malaysia, right? That's the
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh from Malaysia.
yeah, Michelle Yu from Malaysia. Yeah.
and even
Yeah,
if we kind of
that's
language it
definitely
as,
another angle. Yeah, another angle. Yeah. We
and if
can.
we
The one who is the actress director actually, the Shakespeare in
Oh,
uh
yeah, I know you. 赵婷婷.
赵什么
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
赵
Uh,
婷 okay
赵婷婷 Chinese name, but English name I think
yes it's
Chloe
Chinese
Chloe Chloe Zhao. Yeah,
right
Chloe actually. Uh, I know someone in New York that's kind of knows Chloe pretty well. But she actually graduated from NYU. That's the connection there. But anyway, yeah, I agree. So people like that. The other thing related to that is, of course, if we do want to invite some representative from that community to be the keynote speaker, that could be a draw too. When you have that draw, then people willing to come and they'll pay the tickets to come here. So that's not donation,
Yeah.
but still that's income, right? To the event. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to prepare like a summary of a one page of summary of our event with the key highlights, the VIPs who are inviting, who is the keynote speakers, or big movie stars, something that's more
yeah,
attractive
we
for
can be
those.
creative, but I think Julie, you set up a good structure. That's for sponsorship. Then we have individual donation. Of course, we also have a matching donation. There could be many different ideas.
Yeah.
Now, Pars, I saw your text, and we are discussing right now about the rally phrase and to have a theme for our national event. One of the theme that been proposed, I proposed that, and we still need discussion. Back to what you're looking at is the phrase I propose to use as a theme is "This land is made for you and me." That's the a famous song. You probably, this is your land, this is my land, from California to New York Island, right? From Redwood Forest to and then this land is made for you and me. This is actually very powerful. Even everybody knows this song, but I think it carries the point. Asian American, part of American history. Asian Americans are Americans because this is a free land. So this land is made for you and me. Now everybody can come here to celebrate that. But I notice you send it because you have to have a phrase catch people, right? That's why we want to do that. Everybody like claim, this land is made for you and me. So it's right, and everyone is equal. We come here. That's why we commemorate the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal with inalienable right of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And the powers. And another thing following that is we try to promote the idea that the 250 years, what is the social progress in this country? One sentence: expansion of equal right to all Americans. Because when they started, it's just white American with property, and later, of course, we have emancipation, freedom for the African Americans, and later you have the voting right for the women, and then later you have the civil rights movement, and now everybody is supposed to have the equal right? So if you say American society, what is the progress in 250 years? That single one is expansion of that equal right to everybody now. We don't want history to moving backwards. That's the whole idea. This is the social progress. That's why this land is made for you and me. We're all here. If we can get that message carried out, that's why Asian Americans should understand this is not just a land of freedom, land of opportunity, also a land of responsibility. That's the whole message. Kind of, we try to get everybody united behind that, and that's why we want to commemorate the Declaration of Independence 250. But anyway, I know your thinking, so I saw your text. Good thinking, though. We're all thinking about same path. Because how do we bring people all together, right?
So we
Celine, I
went
think,
to, yeah,
yeah, I may
so,
have to run quickly, but go ahead, Celine. You have, but tomorrow
yeah, so,
we're going to have this meeting, though, right, Judy? We're going to join the meeting for you tomorrow. At 9 o'clock.
Right.
Okay.
yeah.
Celine,
So
go ahead.
we went to different breakout sessions at the GMC event. And I think you went to, the story one, or I went to the declaration one. And the way they decode, how people go to church and the pastor would just like decode the whole, sermon or sentence of the Bible. This is how you read it, and that's the story of the time, and this word means whatever. So at JMC event, they decode all men created equal, and it depends on different people reading from different perspective. And of course, the white man at the time, maybe they think it was themselves, but the way you read it, there's all in front of man. And man at that time, it's human. So, it didn't matter where people come from as long as they're human. But the key word was all. So from 250 years ago, the people who wrote that document, they already indicated, uh, you know, all men to all human. And then also the pursuit of happiness. Some people focus on the happiness side of it. Some people focus on, hey, why don't you just give me the happiness, or I entitled to it? But the key word is the pursuit. So, you gotta do the right thing, work hard and do whatever, but you have the right to pursue that happiness. So, it comes back to this whole thing about the social progress. But if we read it the right way, it has always been there, and we just have to stick with it. So, are we good for now? Or tomorrow we're gonna catch up with Julie, and then I'll send you all the invite so you can play around the programs.
Yeah, I think we're good for now. We just need to move to our different parts of our committee tasks. So thank you everyone for the meeting. And yeah, let's rock and roll.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, real quick, Julie, I've got something I want to share with you real quick. I'm sure you have probably done this. I ran a quick chat GPT because I've got kind of some other plugins that I've added in here, but here's a chat that could support you. I basically just asked it like, what are the different fundraising angles? What are some ways that we can think about raising money beyond the event? Things like that. So hopefully this is somewhat helpful.
I clicked on it. It's not showing anything.
Oh, is it opening up your chat GPT window?
Yeah. ChatGPT, it's just a blank page. It doesn't open.
Oh, strange. Okay.
Why don't you
Did
share
you,
your screen?
did you do
Yeah.
that in your account? I wonder.
You should be able to ch share chats.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see it.
Are you able to see it?
I see
Okay.
it.
Do you have
Maybe
the paid version or the free version, Julie?
I have the paid version.
Oh, okay.
Let me
It
Um,
double,
shouldn't
let me just
it
paste the
shouldn't matter.
URL. Yeah, it should not matter. Huh.
yeah, should know. Yeah, I can share my screen just so you have
Awesome.
it in the recording. So let's do this. So I just put in kind of a simple prompt here. I'm an advisor for this organization. I put in the URL for highlighting the contributions that Asian Americans have made in the evolution of the United States. We have an event. Julie is our fundraising chair. What are 30 angles we can use for fundraising? So it kind of went into, I'll ground this in organizational event context first, then turn it into practical fundraising angles Julie can actually use with donors, sponsors, and community partners. And so it gave me a number of angles, um, kind of coattailing on the actor actresses vibe, Asian Americans as co-authors. Okay, and then so this is just kind of like messaging angles, I suppose. Youth civic educations, but I think some of these might be relevant. Like the one that kind of jumped out at me is, oh, you could be a founding circle sponsor for the organization and organizational initiatives, in addition to big picture, in addition to the event.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow. Yeah, that's a
belonging
lot.
beyond politics, yeah, women's leadership sponsor. So this could be another angle, like supporting Asian American women leaders. Um, So again, some of this digital platform app sponsor, because it
That'll be
knows that
you.
it knows that I've created some chats regarding the app, so it could be like a technology sponsor.
Technology sponsor. Yeah.
Um, and then this is kind of interesting. We've got table host, circle host model, um, to honor your parents, grandparents' gift. So some of these are kind of, they're around the ballpark, and some of them are a little bit clearer. And then I also asked it. And then it kind of whittled it down to like the top five. We can kind of interact with this. And then I asked it, not bad. Now give me 30 fundraising approaches. We have thought about having, and then I added in, we've thought about having sponsors like title sponsor, matching sponsor, etc. So this is specifically for the event. And so it kind of goes into some other options. So of course we have a matching sponsor, challenge match, matching sponsor, founding circle we talked about, legacy family sponsor, it's an honor wall. Um, of course, scrolling further down. If we had a youth track, youth leadership sponsor, media sponsor, this kind of gets now a little bit more granular. So media sponsor,
Okay,
me.
I was able to open it in Safari. Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Google Chrome won't let me open it. Yeah, these are yeah, a lot of yeah, a lot of sponsorship are pretty creative. And I never thought about that. Like
Um,
story.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. Like you can just take all of your ideas or all of the documents that you've come up with thus far and just like throw it all in here and say, give me 50 ideas I haven't thought about yet.
Yeah,
Test the feasibility of this. These are the constraints and challenges that I'm experiencing, and it's just really cool. Like I love this as a ChatGPT, particularly as a thought partner.
it's great. Yeah. I
Hopefully that
also want to
helps.
check out the website you sent out earlier. Um, you sent me a link, the VEE.com.
Yeah, so this I can touch upon this now really briefly in like 2 minutes. So this is a platform that I have used with another organization I was part of, which is a South Asian mental health oriented organization. Their pricing is pretty cool. Like if we had, let's say, if we had 6 or 7 grand. So the way they work is you pay them by quarter, and they have these agents. So Grant is like the grant writing agent. So you give it everything about the organization. Here's what we've done, or here's what we're planning on doing. Here's how big our committee is. Here's our initiatives. Here's our mission, vision, blue sky scenario, the impact we want to make, all of that stuff. Um, and then Maggie is an agent that basically creates social media posts, on behalf of the organization. And I guess they've
Hmm.
added this new one, Donna, strengthen donor relations with continuous customized messaging. Oh, they didn't have Donna 8 months ago, so it seems like they're adding. And what's really cool about this is there is a human in the loop. So last their pricing was for the whole year, $5,600, and you pay quarterly. And then Grant will give you 4 grants or organizations. So it'll go based, first we give it all the data. And based on our mission, vision, all that stuff, it'll find like up to 20 grants a month that are directly aligned with what we're about. And then out of that, you can then have Grant submit. So create all of the writing, all of the stuff. You still need a human to hit the submit button, like to do the submission on a Grant portal. Um, because now with AI, there's just a lot of strict, like, you could create a bot and hit submit 100 times, right? So you still need a human to validate that I am Julie and I am don't like
Right.
applying, but it'll get you through. It'll get you to that step before the finish line. The other cool thing is their agents. You can talk to it. So like Maggie, for instance, it's all email based. You can literally write an email to Maggie and say, "Hey, I want these kinds of social media posts," and maybe there's a Celine operation, but somebody on the team. I want these kinds of like this is our 12-year strategy. Sorry, 12-month strategy. We need message points that kind of hit these things to like warm up the audience. um Break all of this down for me and then like create the post for me. So you can even give it your brand colors, you can give it your brand vibe. um even if we're just starting out, you can pull examples of other organizations that we like and like just brain dump with it and say, these are our colors, but we like this vibe. It has to be intergenerationally focused, it has to, all of that kind of stuff. And then they have their own portal on the back end after you log in. And it'll give you the copy, it'll give you the imagery, it'll give you like three different versions, and all you have to kind of do is, yep, I like that one, hit send. You can interact with it through their portal, or you can interact with it via email. So you can literally create an email chain, copy a number of other team members, and Maggie, just as like a human, would reply, and like everybody would be clued in to that communication thread. So pretty cool. So for us, closing thought, it was 5,600, but we ended up raising, I mean, way more than that. So it was a pretty good tool. And each of the grants were anywhere from like 5 grand to like 50,000. I mean, in terms of the grants that we applied for, um,
Mm.
we raised, I think, something like 60 or 70. And then we had a gala. It's called Jiva Mental Health, which is the organization. So our gala was the big one, but this, as we start building initiatives, projects, events, particularly, pretty helpful.
Mm. Very interesting. I definitely will look into it today.
And you can book a
Uh,
demo. They're actually it's great. Actually, I've talked to their customer service
yeah,
reps. They're not really salesy. They're just like, okay, here's what we can help you with. We'll be honest with you. They'll give you a 1 month trial. I,
great.
I like the vibe of their team. It's kind of like us, like so down to earth.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your information.
My pleasure. Great, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank
I
you.
will complete.
Just want to see if Celine has anything else.
Um, no, I was just, because if I shut down the chat, then I'll shut all of you down. So, but yeah, I'm working with Ty here because we have an event coming up. It's a little bit of urgent. And then I guess after a few hours, I'll be trying to figure out how to send your invites to all the Zoho platform, and then you could take time to figure it out. But
Yeah,
just give me a few hours.
I'm already in there. I signed in and I was able to create my account and sign in, but I haven't
Okay.
had the chance to play with it.
Yeah. Um, I probably have to somehow link your account to this one so that we can be all, sharing one account instead of the individual account. But I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Okay,
So we can all be in the same system.
great.
Okay, we'll
Oh,
see you
oh,
tomorrow.
thank you so much.
Thank
See
you,
And
ya.
guys.
yeah,
Bye.
we'll catch up on the app part.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I've got some
Right.
homework to do, so I'll get back to everyone in a few days.
Okay, thank you,
Okay, cool.
everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye.